Hey everybody, welcome to Hump Day Hangouts. Today is the 12th of January, 2022. I'm still getting in that habit, right? It's like back in the day when you had to write checks and you keep writing the wrong year. I keep doing that, but I got it. 2022, episode 374. It's a little chilly here in the Northwest, and I got a new hat today, so decided to wear my beanie and keep my head warm and show it off. So with that important news out of the way, I wanted to welcome you to Hump Day Hangouts, and we're going to say hi to Chris and Bradley real quick. Got a couple of announcements like usual, and then we're going to get into the questions. So, Chris, how you doing, man?
Doing super well here today. It's pretty cold here as well. Probably not as cold as on your end, but it doesn't really matter for me. Like, been busy working on a couple projects here. Super excited about them, and should kick off the year. Pretty sweet.
Very nice. Yeah, man, I feel the same way. We got a lot in the works. I know, obviously we know that. We just talked yesterday about it. Don't want to give people too many spoilers, but I know we've been talking about content for a while. Got a couple other projects in the works. Really looking forward to that. But before we spoil or get into any of that, Bradley, how you doing today?
Fucking peachy.
That's awesome. So the Snowacane Snowmageddon on the East Coast is done and over with by now?
Well, I mean, yeah. Apparently, we're supposed to get some more weather this weekend, but it's been crazy because I generate tree service leads, and when we get snow like that, trees go down everywhere, and it's just it's a madhouse. And I mean, it's insane. We were going like it's the slow season typically, unless we get a storm, right? And so, my tree service lead gen assets have been producing 5, 6, 7 leads a week, maybe consistently for about 5 or 6 weeks. And then all of a sudden, boom, we're getting 15, 20, 25 leads a day. And it's almost like, woohoo, the money, right? But no, it's not that, because there's so many leads and they can't keep up with everything that like, it's a lot of calls, but yes, the money's been better. Definitely my contractors have been making really good money the last week or so, but it seems better than it really is, because like I said, so many of them don't end up getting service the calls. And then some people, they'll call 2 or 3 times before they'll get a return call from the contractors, because the contractors are so busy. All my calls go into a call center. So somebody answers the phone, they take the message, say, we'll have somebody, our estimator call you. And then the estimator doesn't call them. And so I've had to get on my tree guys, be like, look, I understand if you can't get to them because you're too busy, but just return their call and tell them we're not going to be able to get to you, because otherwise they leave shitty reviews on the Google business listings, and that can end up causing listings to tank or people to just not call that listing. And then there's no more work when you're not busy. So which do you want, And so sometimes you just got to slap them around a little bit and remind them, like, just do the right thing and return the calls. But anyways, it's been good. A lot of work, just busy time.
Man, there you go. There's a service waiting to happen for somebody out there who runs these phone services, is like a callback method where it's like, hey, if they don't call back in 24 hours, they call for you and just say, hey, we can't discuss, the project. Just wanted to let you know we're really busy. We'll get back to you or something. That's
not a bad idea.
Right?
You can actually do that, automatic voicemail.
Oh, yeah. But like some way you've got to know if they haven't been called yet. I'm sure there's a way to do it. Anyways. All right. Without going into lead gen details.
that could be done in high level if the contractors are properly using high level. The thing is because I have all my contractors set up on sub accounts in high level with like a pipeline. It's a 5-stage pipeline. Problem is when they get that busy, they don't update the pipeline. So once again, they have to use the pipeline the way that it's supposed to be used, or else those automations wouldn't work, which is what Adam was saying.
I've got the answer, Bradley. Here's what you do. Before you take a client on, you make them work the system, and then it's all
Good luck trying to get a tree contractor to read a book.
Too funny. All right. So real quick, just wanted to say hello again to everybody. I wanted to also point out, if you are watching us or you're watching the replay and you are not subscribed to on YouTube, head over to YouTube. Type in Semantic Mastery, hit subscribe. And the reason I say that is you can catch up on stuff afterwards, or if you're not able to join us live, you get notifications when the new videos come out. And we not only do just the Hump Day Hangouts, but we have our team then chop them up into each question, so they each get posted. So we'd really appreciate that. That helps us get engagement on the YouTube channel and then kind of know what is working, what isn't, what you want to hear more about. But also, if you're not able to join us, you can get caught up there. Again, we always like it when you're here live, especially because sometimes we may have a question where we're not sure, your question was a little ambiguous. And if you're here live, we can ask you and you can literally give us feedback. So join us live, subscribe on YouTube. And if you haven't gotten your checklist yet, you can find it up at the top of the page here, or you can just go to gmbprocess.com. Grab that there. That is Bradley's step-by-step checklist for optimizing the GMB, GBP, whatever the name is going to be next week.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Also, wanted to remind people, I was really happy. We had a lot of people join the mastermind over the last few weeks, especially with the special holiday offer that we had. But regardless of whether it's the holidays or what's going on, 2022 is getting off to a good start here. Everyone's, making the plans, getting started, working those projects. But if you want to also have a community like yourself who is looking forward to growing in 2022, whether that's an agency, whether you're a consultant, whether you're doing lead gen or you have brick and mortar, you not only get to experience and talk to us and get advice, but also from other people doing that exact same stuff, which is really powerful. So we encourage you to check out the mastermind. You can find out more about that at mastermind.semanticmastery.com. With that said, guys, was there anything else we needed to talk about?
I
think that's it. I always just bring it up for a good awkward pause, but I was like, man, I don't know. I forget stuff. So
Content Kings, we're hoping to launch that by the end of this month. I'm certainly hoping we are for sure. I've got a kind of a consultation and link building service that I'm kind of doing. It's in beta right now in the mastermind, and I got 12 locations. Likely going to pick up another 3 or 4 this week, and I think I'm gonna have to cap it at 15 for now, so I can get some more automation built into it and everything else. But that's working really well, and it's awesome because I'm getting to analyze locations, so Google Business plus location landing pages, money sites, essentially, and backlink profiles across various industries now. And each location is unique, but it's interesting because I've got a lot more data. I've got a lot of, access to a lot more data now because I'm analyzing different industries, different locations, different cities, that kind of stuff. And so it's kind of interesting. I'm seeing patterns emerge with backlinking profiles and stuff. And so it's helping me to become even better at, link building for local stuff. And so it's really interesting. It's been a lot of fun. Crunching all this data. Like, I'm fascinated with kind of how backlinks are working now, consider based upon what we've done over the last several years. Things are evolving, there's no question. Traffic is a big part of it too. We talked about this last week, and I see BB's got a bunch of questions again. So what's up, BB? We're going to get to some of that. But yeah, traffic is a big part of that now. So it's like a kind of combination of good links that are topically relevant. Topical relevance is more important than metrics now. There's no question about it. But if you can get a topically relevant link on a site with good metrics, that's like the the golden the golden egg. You know what I mean? And then if you can manipulate that with traffic, either CT spam tools or using click-through spam tools or Google Ads, which is paid traffic from a relevant audience, especially, that tends to work even better. But either way, as long as you're forcing a little bit of traffic and engagement signals into it, it works like magic. And it's really awesome, man. I'm having fun. I'm enjoying it. So anybody that's interested in something like that, come join the mastermind. I talk about everything that I'm doing for my consultation clients. I don't reveal their locations, but I talk about the data that I'm seeing and what I'm figuring out. Teach all of that shit in the mastermind. I don't hold anything back, and that's the truth. Just ask anybody in the mastermind. So I just encourage you to come check it out, and love to see you there. So
cool. I'll just say real quick before we jump into the questions. I saw Patrick said on the YouTube, he said, man, I can't get my clients to read a text message, much less a book. So yeah, it's definitely not serious about that. But yeah, right. It's always thinking about the problem before, like it's hard to get somebody to do something after the fact. So how can you get them there? But yeah, definitely tough to get people to do stuff.
Yeah. Right on. Okay. Are we good?
Yeah, I think so. Let's do it.
Let's get on it. Okay. So BB's up with a slew of questions. I wouldn't expect anything less from BB. So what's up, man? He says, hey guys, recapping on my mistakes. Basically it was, I have the disease you told on the shiny object, lack of focus, went into a tough niche, tried to monetize it as lead gen, but no one in my country paid me for the leads. Now I monetize it with ads that don't give me shit. Yeah. So anybody that doesn't know what we're talking about, last week, BB posted a slew of questions like he normally does. And one of them he kind of, BB's been coming here for quite some time, asking a lot of questions every time. It's always a lot of questions. And I'm always giving you shit for that, but we appreciate you, man, for real. I mean that. But you know, he kind of disappeared for a minute, for several months, and all of a sudden he's back. And so he was kind of explaining why he had disappeared for a while. And one of the things I mentioned was, you know, hey, probably part of the reason you haven't started to make any money or achieved any real success with marketing is because of, you know, something that's pretty common to all of us, which is shiny object syndrome. And, you know, we chase opportunity. Grass is always greener on the other side of the fence. It always is. It always will be. But it's really about picking something that you have, in my opinion, have a genuine interest in that can make you money as well. You know, making money can be your interest. There's no question. But I typically advise people to try to find something that they truly have an interest in, that they're curious about, that they know can generate money. If other people are generating money doing that method in that industry, then you can too. But it's about sticking with it, right? Putting on your blinders, ignoring everything else, and focusing in on that until you achieve some level of success. You know, because if you try to do too many things, you're never going to achieve success in any of them, right? You're spread too thin. And that's the problem. We see it time and again in this industry. I mean, I've experienced it myself many times over the years where, you know, something looks like an opportunity that I want to pursue, but it takes away from stuff that I'm already doing that's working. By the way, Adam, you posted that Alex Hermosi video in our Slack group. And I did watch that yesterday, right before our corporate meeting. I just forgot to mention it. Fantastic video, 55 minutes. I'm telling you guys, if you can locate that, Adam, and post that on the.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'll grab that.
Outstanding. And if you guys don't know who Alex Hermosi is, acquisition.com. He's got a fantastic YouTube channel. The guy is filthy fucking rich. And he's really good at business and everything else. And that the video is great. It's 55 minutes, and it will change what you think, how you think about like pursuing opportunity and what's important and all that kind of stuff. So I highly encourage you to watch that. Adam's going to post it in chat below. But you know, that I watched it yesterday. I watched it at 1.25 speed, so it took about 40 minutes or so. But it was really good because again, it just, right now we're launching Content Kings, and then I've got my link building service, which is that's actually called Semantic Links now. We're going to keep those separate. Pursuing potential opportunity with a software developer, one that we've known for many years. So like really, just we've got to focus too, and we're just going to focus on those two businesses, Content Kings, link building, and in the mastermind, and that's it. And like everything else, I'm cutting away. Like even opportunities that I've had a few of them come my way in the last couple of months now, and I've had to turn them down. And it's just because again, it's like find something that you're interested in that. And in that Alex Hermosi video, he talks about, the typical path of an entrepreneur is to sprint real fast, and then they find another opportunity and they go chase that. So it's like, up at a sharp angle and then straight down and then up at a sharp. So like, if you're looking at it on a linear scale, it's like they're making progress real sharp. They work real hard, real fast. They sprint towards, whatever objective it is that they have, goal they have, and then they find something else. And they stop on that and then they go chase something else. And that's pretty typical. I mean, I've done it. I think we all have. But he was talking about, if you just kind of stay slow and steady and continue working on something that can produce, you might get discouraged or bored or whatever, lose interest at some point or time. But slow and steady wins the race. Like eventually you will have compounded your skill set, your knowledge, your experience to where you will achieve massive success. And so that's kind of what I'm trying to convey here is just, find something, pick something. Stick with it long enough, be tenacious about it to where you don't get distracted and chase other shiny objects and then have no success and feel discouraged or say, oh, that shit doesn't work. No, bullshit. If other people are making money doing what it is that you're looking into, then you can too, but you just have to be persistent and stick with it. So I'll get off my soapbox, but anyways, to get back to BB's questions, he says, now for the questions. Number one. So I understand that the link tier 1 building is gone and the link index is irrelevant. Just driving traffic will solve it. What methods do you use now for offsite? No, I think you misunderstood what I'm saying. Do you still use the SEO Shield, IFTTT, and Google properties? Yes, absolutely. I might use other providers at times now. I'm testing several of them. But yes, absolutely. Google properties, guys, they're Google properties. You can siphon so much authority from Google properties. period. End of story. That doesn't change. And in fact, I don't think it will ever change. It may, but it hasn't for years, and it won't change. It's still a very integral part of what I do, and it will remain so for the foreseeable future. I'm starting to work more Google properties into my kind of mix, which includes Google Cloud hosted pages, which is just HTML. Well, it's just very much like Amazon S3, Google Cloud Storage. You get buckets. You can create HTML pages. You can use you can actually build sites in Google Cloud and all kinds of stuff like WordPress sites and everything else. I'm just doing HTML stuff right now. But yeah, I mean, there's, Google Drive stacks done properly work, period. I don't care anybody says that it doesn't, they're just not doing it right. That's the problem. And that's their fault, not ours. So anyways, yes, I'm still using those IFTTT networks. I'm not really syndicating much content anymore because IFTTT now you have to have a paid account to have more than it's either 2 or 3 apps. They'll only allow you to turn on 2 or maybe 3. It's 2 or 3 applets without having a paid account. And I'm not going to have a paid account for every IFTTT network. I just don't want them. Don't need them. To be honest with you, I just, the syndication networks it's about creating a entity footprint, right? A footprint is not a bad thing when you're talking about the semantic web, like in an entity footprint. You want to expand your entity footprint. The syndication network is a great kind of first step. And then constantly expanding. That's what Syndication Academy is all about. Our amazing teacher, Essie, and Syndication Academy, she took over managing and teaching over there. She does really good every 2 weeks. She said there's another video, another update webinar about how to expand the entity footprint using Web 2 and high authority sites that can be social hubs or semantic hubs because they can interlink to your other properties. And that's really important. You're creating a knowledge graph in the semantic web by doing that, right? And so it's really important to do that. Syndicating content, though, because of the way that IFTTT has changed recently, you only get 2 or 3 applets. Again, it's 2 or 3, I can't remember. So I just syndicate to Tumblr and WordPress now. That's it. The rest of the assets are still important, though. And that's why I said it's important to continually get that. I'm telling you guys, I mean, syndication networks are a very limited amount of properties. It's like 20, maybe 15, 20 properties, something like that. So if you're in Syndication Academy and you've got somebody in-house that's doing this for you, or you're doing it yourself, which I don't recommend, then it's important to follow along with what Essie's teaching, which is about, constantly going in and she does 2 or 3 properties every 2 weeks where she'll send, and walk through how to set them up and how to interlink them and all that. Go through it and put that to use. Get a VA, put them into the training, have them do it for you. So you don't have to do it, right? But that way it gets done and you're ever expanding that entity footprint. It's incredibly important. There are other services out there that you can use to purchase done for you kind of, social media profile and Web 2 profile creations. It's important to have them interlinked though. And you got to find providers that do that properly. Marketer Center has a really good thing called Social Foundations, marketercenter.com. It's Alex Scherer, I think, Andrew Scherer, I think his name is. Sorry, and if I'm butchering your name right now, but anyways, he's got marketercenter.com. He's got a thing called Social Foundations, really good service, and he's got interlinkables. There's a couple different levels, and I use that personally. I even referenced it in the Google Business Process Checklist, guys. So again, that's really important. All right, Google properties, absolutely important. And like I said, I'm starting to do a lot of stuff with cloud properties, including Google Cloud Storage, Amazon S3, Microsoft Azure, stuff like that. Jesper Nissen has a great cloud stacking course that it's fantastic. Jesper's awesome. I just had a call with him on Tuesday morning at 7 a.m. because he's in Denmark, I think. Anyways, we had a Zoom call on Tuesday morning. I love what he's doing right now. So Jesper Nissen's SEO, he's got a Twitter Moments course, cloud stacking course. It's fantastic. I'm really looking forward to what he's doing. I fully support what he's doing over there. So he's a nice guy. We had a great conversation. So check that kind of stuff out. Okay. As far as, tier 1 links being irrelevant, that's not what I said. What I said was spam links. Spam links, the only thing I'm saying is for the last several months, I've been testing really heavy with link building. And I'm telling you that the bulk spam just isn't doing a damn thing anymore, but helping stuff index. I don't see it moving the needle anywhere. All the testing I've done, and that's why I said last week, I'm just done with it. I'm done with spam links other than for perhaps to help stuff index. Like some, perhaps there's some, I'm using this service called Yive Ranker, which you can submit via RSS feeds. So all you do is connect it one time and every time a new post is published on whatever that feed is that you submit, will automatically build some spam links to it. And it's just for indexing. So I only do that for like Google Business. You can create an RSS feed from Google Business Post using rss.app, which is awesome. So you can get, again, every time a Google Business Post is published, it will automatically get some, a handful of spammy links built to it, but that helps it to index. The same thing with your Web 2 RSS feeds. So WordPress and Tumblr, those are the two that I syndicate to now. So I just take those RSS feeds from WordPress and Tumblr, not your self-hosted WordPress site, but from the syndication network. And I submit those to YiveRanker. And every time a post is published, it will send it over there and get, a couple hundred or a couple thousand, depending on what you set up, spam links built to it. They don't do anything for SEO, but they help them to get indexed. Just so you know. So I think you misunderstood what I said. Links are still absolutely important. They got to be quality links. They got to have some value, and they got to be topically relevant. That's the most important thing. And if one of the ways that you can get links indexed is through traffic signals. Again, think about why that works, guys. If Google wants to stop spammers, then they can just discredit links that get no traffic. Think about it. Why would those links be of any value to anybody if they're never getting visited? They're just discounted. They're just discredited. It's not that they're harmful. They're just not counted. I'm not saying that there can't be a link out there somewhere that doesn't ever get any traffic, that still doesn't, I'm sure there are links that can still provide some sort of SEO value, but those really low quality links, non-topically relevant sites, you get no traffic, no signals, nothing. They're useless. So, but traffic signals is one way for Google to pay attention. You can force Google to pay attention to that link because of traffic signals, right? So you can spoof that using CT spam tools like Viper tools. It's a good opportunity to drop that link, guys. It's nsmshort.link. Or you can do it with Google Ads. And Google Ads actually tends to work a little bit better because you're buying real traffic from real Google users from a relevant audience, from a relevant area. And so that tends to be a little bit better, but I like the tools because it's, we like to spam. That's what we do, right? So anyway, hopefully that makes sense, guys. I didn't want to take too much time on that, but I want to clarify what I said. If somebody misunderstands what I say, like tier 1 links are no good. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying they need to be good links, clean links that have some value from topically relevant sources. And you can manipulate that. It's what we do. It's what we teach. Okay. You use the cloud links for tier 1 or tier 2 or both. Mostly tier 1. You can use them for both though. Cloud stacking, again, I just mentioned Jesper Nissen. He's got a great cloud stacking course, guys. It's fantastic. His Twitter Moments course is badass too. You can buy it as a bundle with his Tumblr SEO course, which I haven't even gone through that one yet. I got all 3 of them, but I didn't go through that Tumblr course yet. But it's great. Just go check it out. Cloud stacking is fantastic. There's some great providers on Legit. Fastman Gigs over at Legit. He's got a cloud stacking gig over there that's fantastic. It's amazing. So again, yes, cloud links are great. I use them a lot for tier 1, but they can be used for both. Okay. The old GSites can be created now. What do? Do you only use the new GSite? I mix and match. I've been testing with both. I still tend to do the newer ones because they're easier to set up. They look better. They're responsive. But there's some value to using the old site still too for SEO purposes. They look shitty. So if I'm going to rank a site that, which GSites will still rank, or use GSites as a way to power up existing assets, which is, primarily what I do with them. I try to make them look better so that they can convert if somebody lands on them, if that makes sense. But there is still some value to the old sites. You can do some stuff with the old sites that you can't do with the new ones as far as like SEO stuff, but that's for another day. Okay. Moving on. Also adding the mistakes that I did writing the content on my own, which I hate writing, but I had to understand how to write SEO content. Also did the backlinks myself. Also had to understand how to do backlink campaigns and how to interlink the pages to the money site in the PR backlinking method. Adding to the mistakes is writing content to the backlink pages. This is the most wasted time in the road. Yeah, especially now with all the tools, with all the AI writing assistant tools, guys, there's no reason. I mean, yes, for money site content, you should still have human involvement, but for link building, tier 1 content, tier 1 content should still be tuned well and optimized well. I try to treat it as if it is a money site content. Tier 2 content, link building content, you can automate most of that now. With the AI writing assistant tools, it just makes it so simple. There's really no reason to be spending a lot of time producing content. Outranking is about to come out with version 7. I think on the 20th is their goal. And From what I hear, it's badass. I'm already a huge fan of outranking. My team uses that a lot. But apparently version 7 is even better. One of our mastermind members is in the beta group for version 7, and he's singing it praises. So fourth question, I'm basically a pro in the niche I'm in, and I don't think anyone can write content as good as me in that specific niche. Well, then maybe you should monetize writing content for that niche as opposed to marketing, right? Think about that. If you think you're that good at it, and I'm not saying you're not, BB, I'm saying if you think you're that good at it, you could employ some of those AI writing assistant tools and stuff like Surfer SEO or, outranking and things like that that can help you to really tune those pieces of content very well to where they're super competitive. And if you're good at that, then you can use those tools to help you become a lot more efficient at producing content in that industry as a subject matter expert. And you could sell copywriting services. And I don't mean like marketing copy, but I mean like content services. Maybe you're good at copywriting. I don't know. But I'm just saying, that might be an opportunity for you to make some money, right? If that's a skill set that you believe that you have, try it. Try monetizing that skill set. Besides, setting up assets that you try to make money from, like for ranking and things like that, sell content. Why not, right? Okay. Do you use Cloud Links for tier or money site or all of them? I think I already answered that. I use Cloud Links for money site to power up the money site, Google Business website, Google Business Map. They can be used for tier 2 links. They're fantastic. So whenever the US local area services install Google guaranteed boxes, does it worry about you getting leads? Yeah, I mean, it has actually, it took a while before it started to affect the tree service industry. It's been more prominent in some of the other industries for a lot longer. For a while, I didn't worry about it at all because it was not affecting leads for the tree service industry, which is what I primarily work in. It has taken a bite out of that more recently, though. There's no question, but it's a pain in the ass to get involved with that. I've got clients in other industries, pest control client, a roofer, and they make you jump through a bunch of hoops, and it's just, I don't advise. I mean, it can work for the right contractor company, but it's not something that I'm familiar with, other than I pointed them to a Google guaranteed, consultant that can help them get set up when they're ready to do it. It's not something I'm going to do. How fast do you get ranked on local on a totally new site? It depends. Depends on the competition. Depends on what your strategies and methods are. I can do it in 90 days most of the time. In fact, most of 2021, that was my guarantee. I was actually offering a guarantee to tree contractors that would guarantee that I could get their Google Business to rank, even if it was brand new, within 90 days, or I would refund their money. And there was 2 times last year where I almost had to eat those words. So I changed it. I don't offer that. I still offer a guarantee, but now it's, I will rank your Google Business profile in the Maps 3-pack across a 6 square mile, a 3-mile radius. So it ends up really, it's the 5x5 grid. So it's a 25 square mile area within 90 days, within 4 months, or else I'll work on it for free until it does. That way I'm not refunding the money because, a lot of what I do for the first couple of months is spend that money to get the results. So I really don't, I make a little bit of, profit off of each contractor for the first few months, but it's not much. The margins are much smaller initially. Once I get them ranked, then my margins get much bigger. Does that make sense? So instead of offering, again, twice last year, I was still able to pull it off, but just barely. And I said, okay, I got to change this up because that would be a considerable loss each time if I had to refund the money. So now I switched it to, I do it in 4 months, or else I'll continue working on your location until it does. I'll continue working for free until it does. And 4 months is typically enough time. But again, it depends on the competition. So what's up, Frankie? He says, hey, y'all, have a client which for trademark purposes has multiple domains registered for their brand name with different TLDs like .net, .co, etc. Currently, they all 301 to the primary site and have email forwarders. Is there anything that can be done to provide some SEO benefits? Was thinking to send some PBN links from legit to them with branded anchors to be safe, but not sure if it's a good idea. Now, and again, guys, don't send PBN links to your money site. Don't do it, right? You build buffers, right? If you're going to send PBN links, guys, don't send them directly to your money site. You don't have to. There's so many different things that you can do to send. You can power up tier 1 assets with PBN links, right? But don't send them directly to the money site, even through a redirect. I don't advise that. Use cloud hosted pages. I just talked about that again. It's one of my favorite strategies right now. So the ID page, that's a cloud hosted page. It's been that way since we developed the ID page strategy, which is an Amazon S3 hosted HTML page, right? And it's just an iframe stack, an iframe loop. That's all it is. It's got entity information, structured data, and a bunch of iframes. That's a perfect target for that kind of stuff. You want to send PBN links, do it to the ID page. You want to send PBN links, set up Google Cloud hosted pages, Microsoft Azure, exactly what, go get Jesper Nissen's course on cloud stacking, go through it, set it up, use those. Those are perfect targets for PBN links. I don't even like to send PBN links direct to the Google Business Profile website anymore, right? We used to spam the shit out of that. I don't do that anymore. If I'm going to build links to the Google Business Profile website, it's going to be through cloud hosted pages or through niche relevant like guest post or high quality link insertions. But the point that I'm trying to make is if you like, for example, there are some good providers that you got to buy the high quality guest post, guys. Don't go spend $25, $30 on a guest post. You'll get a shit guest post. Don't go buy a link insertion, which is a niche edit, from a cheap provider. There will be 18 other links hacked into that same article with the same damn anchor text outgoing. It provides no value whatsoever. It's spammy as shit. Don't do it. I'm telling you, I've tested this for months. If you're going to buy guest posts, buy from a top quality provider. Go for the more expensive ones. $150, $200 for a guest post. Yes, I know it sounds expensive, but if you want a high quality link, that's what you're going to pay for. And that one link is going to be so much more valuable than hundreds or thousands of spam links. Does that make sense? So why spend $200 on shit links? And I mean this for the, PBN stuff too. Yes, you can find some decent PBN providers, but not for tier one, guys. Don't build links to your tier one assets for PBN providers. You can do that from tier two, right? But not at tier one. So what I'm saying is guest posts are good for that. Good high quality niche edits or link insertions are also good for that. Not cheap ones, because I'm telling you, there'll be 15 other links in that same damn article, many of which will have the same kind of anchor text outgoing. So it basically devalues the link that you just purchased. You might as well build spam. But if you're going to get good niche edits, then those are going to be 1 or 2, maybe 3 links max, because that's what you're paying for, quality, right? And you're paying for referring domains and traffic metrics and everything else. But my whole point is, and that is why will I spend that kind of money, $150, $200, $300, no kidding, on that kind of a link? Guest posts, there are reasons to do it with guest posts, good guest posts. But for niche edits and things like that, you can build cloud hosted pages and get instant authority metrics from those because they're hosted on high domain, high authority cloud hosting domains. And you can control the content, the outbound links on that page. You can make it fully relevant. It's linking back directly to your money site, to your Google business website, map embed, right? Your CID map URL or a map embed or both. You can do embeds and links on that same page. And now you've got one asset that you can power up with, I recommend niche relevant PBN links, not general PBN links. Guys, topical relevance is where it's at right now. If you can get topical relevance with good metrics, now, like I mentioned before, that's the golden egg right there. That's what's really working. But topical relevant, like links from topically relevant sources, is way better than getting a higher powered link from a general blog that has, 18,000 topics on it, right? And so that's why I'm saying, guys, you can manipulate kind of how you're doing your link building. I just did some training. I did half. I was going to do a full training on my link building methods last Thursday for the mastermind webinar, but we have a bunch of new members in the mastermind and we had a bunch of questions that I needed to address for our members. So I only got half of the link building training done. I'm going to do the other half next Thursday. So if you're interested in that, come join the mastermind, guys. We have a quarterly offer. It's stupid. Just come join it. Check it out for 3 months, get all the information you need, and then quit if you want. Hopefully you'll stay because you'll be making more money. And I'm not saying that to pitch, but I'm saying like the link building methods that I've been kind of developed over the last couple of months is working really, really well. I've done a ton of experimenting. And I found out what's really working right now for local. That's all I'm talking about, local link building. And I know what works. And I shared, like I said, half of the strategy last week. I'm going to talk about how to do the deep dive kind of backlink analysis that I do. And go into that next week. So I would encourage you to check it out. So to get back to your question, Frankie, you can do some PBN stuff, but not to those redirects. What I recommend is that you set up other assets first. Cloud hosted pages. You could do well-tuned content on Web 2s. So your branded assets that you already have, publish really well-tuned content. So again, you can control the links. You can put embeds. You know how many outbound links are on the page, all that kind of stuff. And then you can send PBN links to those if you'd like. I still recommend that you find topically relevant PBNs. Ahmed Abraham and Legit, he's got some niche relevant PBNs that are pretty damn good. He's got some high trust flow stuff that you can buy that are pretty good. You can buy some less expensive guest posts to use at tier 2, not the real. If you're going to link directly to your money site, though, you want to go with the highest quality that you can. And I mean that. Like I said, the Socket Wahi is one of the providers over there. He's got a guest post that's the Ninja guest post, which is the top tier. It's like $167 for one guest post. It's good though, right? It's a good link. But you can publish a piece of content on a cloud hosted page for a lot less, and then really kind of power that up with less expensive links because those are tier 2. That makes sense. So there's just a number of ways to get the results without endangering your money site. Redirects are fine, but you still want to put a buffer before using PBN links. And if you're going to use PBN links, I highly recommend that you seek out niche relevant PBNs. Okay. Topical relevance is key right now, guys. It's only going to continue getting that way, I think. Part of the other reason, guys, also think about this with Web2s, some of them you can insert schema. In cloud hosted pages, you can. If you're buying cloud hosted pages, you can ask the providers if they will insert schema. Just provide it to them when you place the order. If you're creating your own cloud hosted pages, then you have the ability to add schema. It's a big part of it, right? You make it so much more powerful if you do that. You can mark up objects, video objects, audio objects. You can add local business schema, organization schema. You can FAQs, Q&A page. You can do all kinds of stuff and really power that up to that makes that tier 1 link so much more valuable, right? So Frankie says, I would love your thoughts or anything else I can do to squeeze some extra juice into the money site so they aren't just sitting there costing money. Yeah, I mean, you always have the option to use those domains for like tier 1 assets. They wouldn't be redirects at that point. But I think that's a nominal to protect the brand, to have all those different top level domains and such. Just redirecting. I mean, it makes sense to do that because it prevents other people from being able to register those domains, right? To me, it's not, it doesn't seem to me like it's just a cost of money. To me, it's kind of an insurance policy, so to speak, right? So it's just a shift in your thought process. Cody says, Bradley, you mentioned last time you've done a ton of testing with CloudHost and link building. Have you tried Dropbox? Not really. Not really. PDFs and stuff in Google Drive, that's still part of the strategy. I haven't tried Dropbox though. If not, what are some of the other solid platforms? Are you directly copying the ID page and other doc sheets or creating fresh content for each stack? Yeah, I mean, I still like to have, it's not fresh content. It's, for example, a lot of the link building customers of mine now from in the mastermind that have hired me for consulting and or link building or both. A lot of the times I'll go scrape the content off of their Google business profile website because everybody in the mastermind does what they should be doing, which is they put really well-tuned content on their Google business profile website, right? And so a lot, they're either generating the content themselves or they're buying it from our Content King service or whatever. And so that tends to be really good. Those hold about 2,500 words capacity on the landing page for the Google business website, about 15,000 characters. So a really well-tuned article for that is great because you can scrape that and then run it through a rephraser, not a spinner. I mean, Word AI is probably the best spinner right now. So if you have that's suitable. Page Rewriter, Mike Martin's, that's a great tool. It's got a really good kind of rephrasing, component or function. And then Quillbot. Quillbot is still badass. I use that a lot. Quillbot, it depends on what I need. Like if I need to scrape content from SERPs, then I use Page Rewriter because it does it all like in the same dashboard. But if I'm pulling content from like a client asset, like a Google business website, for example, like the landing page content, scrape that, I'll run it through Quillbot. And there's different, with the premium account, which is very inexpensive, there's a bunch of different formats here. I'll just pull it up real quick. It's a great tool, guys. Great tool. Very inexpensive too. But you can see there's different modes: standard, fluency, formal, simple, creative, expand, shorten. You can change the synonym level and all that. I always keep it to the least amount of changes so that it's the most accurate. It keeps kind of the context in place. You can set freeze words. In other words, you can tell it you don't want it to spin out or whatever certain types of words or phrases, which is really important to keep entities intact, named entities intact. So this is a great tool. And so I don't like to pull money site content and do that, but Google business website content, yes. I'll run that through a rephraser. Now you've got a unique output. Then I'll run that same original piece through the rephraser again. Now you've got another unique output, right? And you change different levels. Like I said, in Quillbot, you can change different types of output so that you get even different variations of that same piece of content. And then that can be published for tier one, tier one assets and link building and such, right? So it's just a way to kind of reduce your overall costs. I think on tier one, branded profiles, it's really important to have really well-tuned content. I've been preaching that for months now because it works. It works way better. But if it's strictly link building content, then it doesn't need to be tuned as well or as accurate, right? As it doesn't have to be so original, in my opinion. So you can repurpose a tuned piece of tier one content, branded content. You can use that to repurpose for link building content or for non-branded tier one links, if that makes sense. Like, when you're building links on profiles that aren't branded. Okay. So anyway, by the way, I pulled this up because BB was asking about indexing. Guys, I'm using 3 indexers right now that are still working. I hear Omega Indexer. I'm sure most of you are familiar with that. Speedlinks.net. There's this. This is a speed-links.net. This is another good indexer. I'm using this new indexing method, whatever it is. You only get 500 links per month, or you can buy multiple subscriptions. But I'm not building spam anymore. So I don't need bulk indexing. So this is fine. I'm using this plus Omega. And then more recently, just in the last 2 weeks, I came across this. It's a French company. Index me now, but you can select English from the drop down there. And they guarantee indexing, or they'll refund the credits. Now it's expensive. It's 82 cents per link. If you're buying it, the more you buy, the cheaper it gets. But it ranges between 49 cents per link submission to 82 cents. So this is only for my best tier one links that I want to index. I'll submit them here. But if they don't index within 10 days, you get the credit back. So I do a combination of all 3 of these. I reserve links to submit to this Index Me Now service for only my best tier one links, right? But everything else, because again, I'm not doing bulk or volume, like high volume link building, I submit through Omega Indexer and Speed Links. And then my most valuable tier one links I'll put through here. Okay. And one of my members, who's also one of my link building clients now, he was like floored with this site. He was like, man, there's not been a link that it hasn't indexed yet. So he was like, man, thank you so much. And I was like, I didn't do anything. I just told you where to get it. So anyways, check it out. It's 80% within 24 hours. And if it's not indexed in 10 days, you get the credit back. So check it out. Okay. Moving on. Cody, I have not tried Dropbox. I'll have to look into that. As far as copying the stuff, like I said, tier one entity content, I like to leave that kind of original. If it's going to be published on non-branded assets, like for link building, then yeah, you can take that tier one content, rephrase it, and repurpose it. That way you reduce your content costs. But I do recommend investing in well-tuned content for money site content and for branded tier one assets. Okay. It works better that way. You get more value out of the links. They're more relevant. And I think it's important. Cody says, also sorry for the other question, but was listening to an SEO podcast where someone mentioned there are ways to have clones of your money site to help generate more links. Is this something you're familiar with? If so, how can it be done safely? Thanks, guys, for all you do. Your work is hands down the best. Thanks, Cody. I appreciate that. Clone your money site to help generate more links. I don't know about that. I've not done that. There is a great tool that I just started playing with. Cody, I don't know if this is really relevant to your question. I don't know about cloning your money site. I don't know. No, I would hesitate to do that unless you were going in and making significant changes to the content so it's unique on each cloned site. The structure could be identical, sure, but the content I think should be unique, significantly different anyways, if that makes sense. I don't know why you would want to clone. Again, guys, there's more ways to skin a cat than one. I'm not saying that what I'm saying is the only thing that works. That's not it at all. Everybody has their own methods. I'm sure whatever this guy's saying is probably working for him, or this person is saying is probably working for them. I just don't know exactly. I don't have enough context to be able to give you a proper analysis or opinion on it. Other than to say, I would suggest, making sure that the content is significantly altered, even if the structure is the exact same. Okay. Anyway, there's another service that I just picked up. It's on AppSumo. It was. Let's see if it still is. I just started playing with this. This also has a CTR manipulation tool built into it. It's called CTRify. Let's see if it's there still here. Here it is right here. All right. So don't let this fool you. It's $200, but that just eliminates the monthly subscription fee. You still have to buy credits to use this tool, which it's a bit pricey, but it's really cool. I mean, shit, I'll share this. Who cares? I bought an expired domain that had metrics, and I just started testing. This site was in process of being built the last time it was last week, at the end of last week. So I haven't even really seen since it's been fully built yet. That's not it. Arborist tree service.com. What the fuck is that? Anyway, maybe it's missing a T. That's it. That's why. Okay, so it's misspelled, and I never even noticed that. I bought that domain and it's misspelled. It's missing a T, and I never even noticed that till just now. That's interesting. Anyways, this had metrics. Unfortunately, the service CTRify forced an HTTPS. I wanted this on HTTP because the majestic metrics on the HTTP domain were exactly what I needed. Let me just show you what I mean. I don't mind you guys seeing this domain just because it's strictly it's a test right now, but it's amazing. This tool CTRify, you see how there's no metrics for that URL. That's specifically that URL. But if I get rid of this S, look at that, 31 trust flow in the appropriate category. Boom, with only 6 backlinks. So unfortunately, the CTRify service is forcing the HTTPS. I didn't want that. And had I known that, I would have used this domain for like a PBN site or an HTML host. I would have used it for backlink purpose. But I didn't know when I added this domain to that CTRify service. But the CTRify has a CT manipulation, click-through manipulation built into it, right? It uses credits. So again, you have to buy credits, but it also has this site builder that goes out and builds site based around topic clusters. So it's really cool. They're all like, basically it costs about $100 to generate a site. You have to buy the credits, but basically it's about $100 to generate a site. But this site, all I did was I went in and I plugged in a keyword, which in this case was tree felling or tree removal, one of the two. And it costs you 100 credits to, it'll do the analysis, but it basically scrapes. People also ask questions and answers. And then, if you decide that you want to build the site, then it will deduct the credits, which is like, again, it's $100. And then it will build the site for you. And all you do is go in and update your name servers, and they give you the name servers, which looks to me like Cloudflare. You just go in your registrar, you point your domain to that, update your DNS to the name servers, to what they give you. And the site's built. It's, 100% hands-free. And look at this. It looks great. It's topically relevant. Some of these images could be edited, but you can edit the site once it's published. But this was all done 100% on autopilot. Like all I did was spend the money, put the keyword in, and I had to buy the domain, right? Which again, I'm a little bit pissed off that I can't force an HTTP instead of an HTTPS because look at those metrics, fantastic metrics. That was perfect. I bought this for a link building domain. I bought it on GoDaddy auction. I bid on it and all that. I spent $50. It's a great domain. I was going to use it for link building. So I was like, I'll try that on this because it fits Arborist tree service, which is missing a T. And I didn't notice that until just now. But unfortunately, the metrics don't transfer the way it works. If we look at it on a domain level, the root domain, there are metrics, but not quite as good. See, it's a little bit less. But specifically with the HTTPS, there's nothing. But I can manipulate that. But anyway, let's check it out. CTRify, like I said, it's $197. That just stops the monthly subscription. You just get lifetime access to it for that, but you still have to buy credits. I haven't tested the CTR manipulation part of it. because I use Viper tools for that. Although I think it's worth testing. I just haven't done it yet.
Hey,
But
Bradley,
the site-
quick question.
Go ahead.
Yeah, on the when they generated the content outline for you, did you look at that at all? Did you feel like that was worthwhile in its of itself, or is it really only good for, you know, just okay, yeah, this looks okay, go build it?
It doesn't really generate an outline. It just pulls in questions.
Okay.
So it'll, you know, it goes out and it'll scrape questions, and then it analyzes the questions, and because it kind of tries to dedupe similar, like very similar questions, so that it's, you know, you're not getting multiple posts with basically the same question being answered. It's not 100% accurate, but it's pretty damn good, and it's all automated. It takes several hours for it to run. But once it does, you know, and by the way, once you decide, okay, yeah, I want to proceed with this site build, you enter the domain, you change the name servers, and, you know, it deducts the credits. It takes several hours for the site to build. But once it does, I mean, like I said, it looks really good, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it looks great, and it was 100% automated. So I can go in here and I can add my own posts. I can add links. So my point is, think about this, guys. You can go out and start creating these like microsites that are, they're when I say microsites, they're not really microsites, because you can, like, the default setting is 40 posts, but you can go up to 100 posts. And so you can go out and build sites around topic clusters. And now you have these sites that you can use for PBNs. You could, you know, put ad traffic on them. If you buy good domains, you can rank these because they're very focused on a particular keyword set or keyword theme. So you can rank these, and then you can sell ad space on them, you know, if they're relevant. So I've got several projects in there that I'll build out eventually around tree service stuff. So one's for tree felling, one's for stump grinding, one's for, you know, arborist tree care, which is kind of a subset of tree service stuff. So anyways, my point is, like, I'll build out a bunch of these, and these will be traffic generation tools or PBNs or whatever you want to call them. So I can't believe I didn't notice that misspelling though, till just now. Anyway, go check it out. Sorry, we're probably not going to get to all the questions, guys. I've been a bit thorough in these answers. Let me see if I can get down further. So check them out, Cody. Gordon, what's up, buddy? He says, hey guys, I've seen some self-described local lead gen gurus stating that they use EMDs for their sites because they get them top rankings. For example, plumberandhouston.com. But I was wondering, it used to be that having the niche and location, or even just the niche in the domain for a local lead gen site would help with ranking. Is that still so today? Yeah, I mean, it can certainly help. The problem with that is it's not a problem. You just have to be aware of it. Is you know, it's easy to over optimize with the on page when you have that. Again, it's not a problem if you're aware of that. It just absolutely EMDs still work. I prefer a branded domain over an EMD any day of the week, but you can get good results with EMDs. There's no question. You just got to be more careful with what you do on page, because you can tip that scale to where it becomes over optimization much easier with the exact match domain. Okay. Number two, if you're building a WordPress local multi-city lead gen site and you have the niche in the domain, bestplumber.com, can you repeat the niche in each city page? You can. Again, you can over optimize to that easily that way. I prefer if the topic, you know, keyword is in the domain, then I like the URL slug to just be the city name. That's just the way I do it, because I don't like it to be I like the URL to not look spammy. Does that make sense? But you can certainly do that. Just, again, it can tip the scale to becoming over optimized quicker that way. That's all I'm saying. Okay. Also, in the page title without some kind of SEO. Well, again, that's what I'm saying. If you have it in the URL and you repeat it in the SEO title and you repeat it in the H1 and then you repeat it in the meta description, those are the first four things the bot looks at. Look at the metadata, right? It's always right at the top of the HTML header for the page. So the bot crawls that, right? The first thing it sees is if you got the keyword, the exact match keyword repeated 4 times, then it's like already the rest of the page is already going to be slanted like through a lens of over optimization, right? It's going to be viewed through a lens of, this is clearly an SEO. So my point is, if you're going to have an optimized URL like that, then you may want to de-optimize other components of those 4 data points, right? You got the URL, you got the SEO title, the H1, and the meta description. So like I said, if you're going to use exact match stuff, just be careful. Just make sure that you're kind of using variants of that keyword in those other areas. Does that make sense? I prefer to have the SEO title exact match and have the URL less optimized. That's my preferred method. Okay. If you can do either or both of these things without any real problem, do you have then to then reduce the usage of the targeted city name or the niche name in the page content to almost zero to avoid over optimization. Yeah, again, that's my point. Remember, those first 4 data points are like always at the top of the HTML header. So this is the first thing the bots see. And so it kind of, you start to get a page score, and you weight it real heavy towards over optimization right off the bat if you're doing that. So it means maybe the rest of the page needs to be less optimized. So my opinion, I'd rather have the exact match keyword more in the content. So in context, if that makes sense, then in that at the top. I like my exact match keyword in the SEO title. There's no question. That's my favorite place to put it. And in the H1. But the URL, I try to keep that less. And then in the meta description, I like to use a variant. That's how I do it. Patrick says, hey guys, the most recent update has been pretty terrible in terms of pushing weak, somewhat spammy, low effort GMBs in the maps pack. Seems like proximity is becoming more important as a signal. Yes, it is. Absolutely. Despite lower value listings overall. Thoughts on that in the recent update? Yeah, I've noticed the same thing. I don't really know what to do other than, CT manipulation, click through rate manipulation is a way to kind of overcome that to a degree. And it doesn't have to be spam. You can use paid traffic for that. There's a lot of stuff weird going on at Google Business right now, guys. Like just a lot of weird stuff, like weird things happening in the dashboard, updates not going through, or updates being suggested or forced upon the GMB that weren't accepted, that aren't relevant. Like just a lot of weird stuff is going on in Google Business right now. So I'm developing alternative ways to generate leads for local businesses that aren't so dependent on Google Business profiles right now, because it looks like we're not going to be able to get spammed listings anyways because of video verifications that are rolling out across the country and perhaps globally at some point. So I am trying to develop some methods for local lead gen that won't be so dependent on Google Business. Hey, look, if you're going to offer services to a client that has a real valid business location, by all means, continue. But if you're trying to do lead gen stuff where you're trying to spam listings, I think those days are over. They're going to continue to become harder if they're not over, right? So we got to shift. We got to evolve. And now I'm working very, very hard behind the scenes. I'm not ready to share any of that yet because I haven't proven it out yet. But if I can prove it out and produce a repeatable process to generate leads alternatively, other than through Google Business profiles, then you can bet your ass that I'll be teaching that in the mastermind. So it's in progress, but I don't have any data to share yet. Okay. Marzano says, when it comes to YouTube videos, is a pre-recorded live stream video a substantial disadvantage to uploading a video file that has the properties filled out with keywords? I still find a better bump live streaming a pre-recorded video where you can't, there's no reason to optimize the metadata of a video file if you're going to live stream it, because none of that metadata gets seen, right? If you're streaming, there is no metadata. Like you can't geotag a file. Well, you can geotag the file, but if you're streaming it, that metadata is never seen. I'm still getting a little bit more of a boost by like using OBS or whatever to live stream. But is it worth the extra trouble? I don't know. Sometimes it's just faster to just, I use Mass Optimizer Pro to geotag MP4 files. And sometimes it's easier just to take a batch of videos and tag them and then just upload them all at once than it is to live stream them. Personally, but it still helps. If you live stream, you do get a little bit more of an SEO bump from it. I'm doing more video stuff right now. That's one of the methods I'm testing to get over the Google Business stuff, is getting back into doing video SEO, which I haven't done for years because I've been using paid traffic for video stuff. But because of Google Business changing now and requiring video verifications may kill the whole lead gen side of business, creating new assets. I think YouTube might be one of it's something I'm looking at really hard to try to get back into doing, popping videos for local search terms. So that's kind of what I'm working on, but I haven't proven it out yet. So we're almost out of time, guys. I think we got just enough time to finish this up. Okay, sorry, Patrick. Hey, I used to be obsessed with understanding every facet of how this stuff works and being involved in every step. Nowadays, while I'm still interested in knowing how it works, I'd much prefer to know what to have done / order without knowing every little detail. I agree. That's what my link building service in the mastermind, it's like I said, it's in beta. It's just right now it's almost entirely arbitrage. In other words, I've just discovered through a ton of testing and a lot of money spent what's working in certain recipes, certain link providers that about 80% of it's through Legit now. Great platform. Chris Walker's done an amazing job over there, guys. But you have to vet services. By the way, in the mastermind, I've shared my preferred link providers, and I've even talked about very, very, very much about how I use them and when I use them and all that kind of stuff. Again, I'm an open book over there. But so I'm arbitraging. Like, in other words, my link building clients are paying me, and I'm taking their money and then buying links that other providers are producing. But I'm doing it in specific ways and certain recipes and sequences that are working and that are working well. And so yeah, I agree. I don't need to know exactly everything that they're doing. I am trying to develop some of our own link building methods specifically to help with this overcoming the GMB stuff, which includes drive stacks and Google properties and cloud hosting pages and Twitter moments and all this stuff. But that's not ready yet. So I'm still arbitraging services. So I think you're smart, Patrick, in doing that. We don't need to know every little fucking detail as long as we can get results. If somebody else knows all that shit, they're really technical at it, and it's good and it works, use it. Be more efficient with your time. And so I totally agree with that. I have too many projects to keep up with every detail. Can I be successful with 80% white label SEO? Absolutely. And guys, I just contracted a company. I'm not going to share it yet because I just contracted them 2 weeks ago. That is actually taking over my local clients for my own business so that I can focus on my link building clients from the mastermind. I just contracted a company that, and I'm not going to share it here. It'll be shared in the mastermind before it's ever shared here anyway. But seriously, I just outsourced a third party that's going to take over my maps projects for my clients. And I'm testing them. I'm only giving them 2 locations right now. But if they pan out to be doing well, it's $300 a month to have them do the maps portion of things so that I can focus on content and link building, which is what I'm really focused on right now. And so I can help my link building clients in mastermind. Does that make sense? So yeah, you can. If you got good providers, man, there's no reason. Why not? Mark it up and sell it. Get good at selling. If you can get good at selling and you have good providers that can produce results, that's how you make a fucking business, right? Instead of always being in the trenches. I mean, I love SEO. I love doing it. But man, if you can sell that shit and you got providers that can produce results, you can have a huge business, because then it's all about generating revenue, not learning the newest SEO technique, right? And I teach SEO, so I'm not trying to push anybody away. I'm just saying, like, think about it from a business perspective. It's better to know how to sell and have providers that can produce results than it is to learn how to do SEO, because you have to stay on top of all that. And that's what we're here for, right?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, and to me, it leads into the mastermind. And again, we say this, or I've said it many times. I'm a paid member of a lot of groups. Obviously, I'm a part of our own mastermind since I help run it. But also, like, that's part of the power of this stuff, is staying current and asking other people what's going on. Do you have a question? Getting those answers quickly so that you don't literally have to be on top of all of it. Because if you are, you're going to spend all your time doing that. You're not going to have the time to grow your business.
Okay, I think we got to wrap it up, but real quick, in regards, Mars says, in regards to spun content, I watched the webinar for Siphon II today, and their new rollout is incredible, and almost a combination between paraphrasing and spin text. Yeah, I've seen Daryl Ledyard posting about that. I have not checked it out yet, but thanks, Mar. I will check it out. Daryl's got some really good stuff going on over there, so I'm curious. I'll have to check it out. And lastly, Social Buzz Me, that's Wayne. Wayne says, haven't tried it yet, but will local guides entering new business still require the business to do a vid verification? I don't know. Wayne, that's a good question. And it's apparently video verification is only in the US that I'm aware of. And it's not across every industry yet, but it's becoming more and more so. I think they're rolling it out. But I'm already considering that being over and done with as far as lead gen. Again, for regular businesses, if they have a real valid business location or a real valid business, there's no reason we can't still do that. But for lead gen, which, that's a big part of my business, I'm trying to overcome that with other methods right now. So we'll talk about it. Anyways, thanks everybody for